Okay, so for the past week we've been having a full schedule with the community, and hopefully that has been supportive. Particularly for just the cultivation of our meditation practice, formal meditation. This winter retreat period is a good time to be focusing our attention. Of course, one on the teachings, and we've been reviewing the fourth satipatthana, fourth foundation of mindfulness, and have gone over the things, the hindrances, and we're on the five aggregates of being, and these are very important themes for knowledge of the Dhamma, but also in terms of the practice of the Dhamma, putting it in practice and working with the cultivation of the mind. In Ajahn Pasanno's translation of Ajahn Chah's biography, the book Stillness Flowing, he translates samadhi as lucid calm, and I thought that's really a brilliant translation, because the standard translation is concentration, which is, I think, a bit unfortunate. It feels so sort of tense and tight, and just that sense of concentrate. If you think what happens when you try to, what's it feel like? Oh, I got to concentrate my mind, and you feel tight already. Or if you think in terms of its literal translation, to concentrate means to make small, which is small and tight as well. They're a bit uncomfortable. So lucid calm is a good indicator, because in the end, words and language are only pointers. But it's helpful to be pointing at least in the right direction. And samadhi is something that is easily conceived of in ways that are not so helpful. So that directing attention to lucid calm, or let's say like when Ajahn Sumedho asked Lumpur Cha what samadhi was. In Thai, he said, "การพักผ่อนทั้งจิตใจ," which is, Lumpur Sumedho translates a holiday for the heart, which is very nice. But it's also like the resting of the heart. And we get relief through samadhi rather than more dukkha. And that's a novel concept. Yet meditate and actually feel more comfortable and happy. So that's its sort of purpose, and it's good to keep that in mind in as we develop and as we cultivate. And certainly, one of the things that I always found helpful in meditation is that, and the whole cultivation of the path, is that the importance of relinquishment. It's much more about relinquishing, letting go, releasing of things rather than gaining, attaining, achieving. I'm gonna gain concentration. I'm going to achieve these refined states of mind, and there's a kind of a drive that's there that is sometimes not so helpful. Of course, we need to be motivated, but so much of our motivation tends to be through an act of will, and because we tend to define ourselves by what we get, what we gain, what we think we are, and that's oftentimes a problem right from the get-go. So that paying attention to releasing, relinquishing, it's there's a very simple phrase in the Tibetan tradition. Patrul Rinpoche references it in his treatise, The Words of My Perfect Master, Perfect Teacher. Is that a spark of merit is worth more than a mountain of effort, which is really interesting. As we, again, the sense of we tend to measure ourselves by our doing, and oftentimes, especially if you think of what's the most meritorious thing is yes, obviously there's some doing there, but so much of what is really meritorious is the relinquishing of self, the relinquishing of obstructions and obscurations is what is really meritorious. So that in meditation, as the relinquishing of 5 hindrances, like when the Buddha describes cultivation of samadhi, and that's viviceva gamehi, vivicha akusalehi dhammehi, sort of secluded from sensuality, secluded from unwholesome states, and that's those 5 hindrances. So secluded in the sense of being willing to relinquish, relinquishing that being drawn out to stimulation, gratification, and kind of excitement, the next sort of sensual hit, the next delightful experience. It's not that you can't experience things that are delightful, and actually, when the mind settles down and becomes steeped in lucid calm, that's really delightful. That sense of being willing to relinquish, to let go of, to release, around that pull towards the stimulation of the senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mental proliferation. And and obviously there's kind of thinking back on past things, but so much of it is the movement of the mind out to the future. That's what when Lopa Cha one time asked what they what a samana, a religious seeker, literally means a peaceful person. What's a samana? A samana is one who has no future. You think, oh, that's pretty grim, no future. But it's not measuring, not looking out for, going out of oneself, looking for the next thing, and just being able to be content with what one is experiencing, so that breathing in a long breath, he knows. Breathe in, I'm breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, one knows. Breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath. I mean, the nuts and bolts of mindfulness of breathing, just being present with that, being present with the experiencing the whole body. And breathe in, experiencing the whole body, and breathe out. Not getting entangled in the mind, moving out to the next thing. That being, and so much of it comes from just relinquishing, releasing, letting go of this obsession with self, with me. Of course, it has its objects of attention, of either desire or aversion, and that's say the second hindrance of the letting go of ill will, irritation, aversion, dislike. And the mind takes a dislike to something, and it agitates the mind, so that in terms of being able to dwell in lucid calm, one has to be willing to relinquish those moods of desire and aversion, or letting the mind drift into dullness. It's as a hindrance. It's an obstacle. And sometimes, one gets tired of following the habit of seeking stimulation, reacting to the things that are the mind inclines to irritation or ill will, and then one opts for dullness. It's not a great option. So the mind is still suffering. So that lifting the mind up to the object of attention, lifting the mind up to its a wholesome object, or at least even just a neutral object, but being mindful, being alert, being present, relaxing and settling into the rhythm of the breath, relaxing and settling into the just the ease of physically and mentally being present. And again, it's the willingness to relinquish and just be content with the experience of the present moment. And you realize that, well, that's enough for realization. It's enough for a feeling of peace, and lucid calm can establish itself. That secluded from unwholesome states is the secluded from sensuality, secluded from unwholesome states is ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness, worry, and skeptical doubt, uncertainty, wavering of the mind. What should I do? How should I do it? Am I doing it right? And again, there's always this necessity, a need for balance, but that effort is one that is there's an ease there, and it's just attending to what is in front of one, rather than reaching out to the next thing or worrying about worrying about stuff from the past. And again, this is that sense of balance. It's not that the mind doesn't learn from the past. Yeah, you learn from it, but you let it go. It's not that one can't plan for the future. One necessarily has to. But it's not letting the mind get entangled with it, and letting that fundamental letting go, releasing, relinquishing. And you can gauge that with each, just stopping and coming back to the breath. And breathing in, being present. And breathing out, being present, releasing, relinquishing into that present experience. And returning to that point of releasing and relinquishing into the present moment, because it's a and with that establishing of mindfulness and returning to the physical experience of the breath, of the physical experience of the posture of the body. One gets a feel for, am I comfortable? Am I content? Is there ease there? And am I forcing? And obviously one has to put some effort forward, but it's this sense of balance that's so important. It's like Ajahn Chah, the image that he gives of putting forth effort is like a fisherman throwing his net out. And it's a very apt image, in that it's you, in order to accomplish the task, there's necessarily effort involved. But if you don't put enough effort in, then the net just gets sort of slack, and nothing much happens. You don't catch anything. But if you're trying too hard and pulling too, then there's no smoothness there, and it just sort of scares away whatever fish you're trying to catch. So that in a sense, we're trying to catch our minds, and you have to approach it in a balanced way. Have to be, and that adjustment of balance is happening on a moment-to-moment basis. As the breath comes in, as the breath goes out, alertness and attentiveness to the body, to the feelings. And experience of, say, of well-being. Like in the Anapanasati Sutta that we chanted, there's several parts of that are very consciously attending to well-being. Experiencing joy, I breathe in. Experiencing joy, I breathe out. Experiencing happiness, I breathe in. Experience happiness, I breathe out. Delighting the mind, I breathe in. Delighting the mind, I breathe out. These are very conscious ways of directing attention, and that there's a certain effort that's there. In the same way that the factors of the mind that is settled, or is firmly established, or is settled in lucid calm. There is directed thought. There is evaluation. The mind is it's not just sinking into oblivion. It's very alert. It's very present. It's directing vitaka, a directed thought. It's directing it. The thought is directed to the experience of the breath, or the experience of relinquishment, the experience of reflection, contemplating impermanence, I breathe in. Contemplating impermanence, I breathe out. These are activities of directing thought, directing attention, evaluating. It's that sense of paying attention. What is the experience? Am I too tight? Am I too loose? Is it clear? Is it settled? How to modulate the breath, how to modulate the experience of the body, how to modulate the mind itself so that it's receptive and not agitated, not distracted. And so that's that function of, say, evaluation. And as one does that, then there's a sense of exhilaration, well-being, and a settling. Because that's the most interesting thing that can happen is experiencing the settled heart, experiencing that quality of lucid calm, experiencing that the firm establishing of the mind. So it's not, because normal, so much of our mental experience is this scattered proliferation, and it's tiring to give oneself an opportunity to experience a restfulness, because that's how that really is. It's restful in the sense that one is, the feeling of settled, and there's an energized quality, or a feeling of renewal. So sometimes even when you say, I feel really energized, and it's sort of like, I just, had 3 shots of espresso, I'm really energized. It's not the experience at all. It's this sense of, there's exhilaration, brightness, well-being that one experiences. And so to experiment with this practice. We've got this winter retreat period. We've got this period of practice that we're doing together. Is give as much time as possible to that cultivation of the formal meditation. And definitely listen to the teachings, listen to the readings, get the perspectives of right view, but then bring it into the heart and nurture or support the inclination that we all have for peace. We all yearn for that which is truly peaceful, and so that the conditions are supportive of that. Just to encourage everyone to put one's attention on it. So I'll offer that for reflection this evening.